Here's your favorite part of the day, wrestling news with Bo and Comic Book Man.
Wasted time is our favorite time. Wrestling News, episode 87, The Look of Diffusion.
Hey folks, how you doing? Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video outhouse. It's time for
Wrestling News.
Wrestling News. Wrestling News number 87, which is coming to you from Alternate Reality, which is located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all new comics are always 15% off every day for everyone. Bo!
Yes.
What is Dave Bautista up to? I hear that he may be returning to the WWE.
Well, Dave Bautista basically said he left the WWE because he's not a big fan of the PG direction, and because he said the PG direction makes things look really, really fake. He says he would be interested in coming back for a small retirement run, but he's not interested in a full-time return. This is not going to happen. He's also about 180 pounds because he said he changed his diet and he cut down. He says he doesn't lift weights anymore.
So he's all skinny?
Well, he's pretty well cut.
Well, 180. Is he 180 pounds or he lost 180 pounds?
He
must
lost,
be dead if he lost
he lost like he used to. I guess he was wrestling a little.
Yeah, that's what you want in a wrestler.
He's at 180 pounds. So he said.
And he must be really skinny.
Well, he said his head looks bigger because his body's small, but he's still fit. He's still fit.
His head looks bigger because of steroids.
But he's not. He's not working out with weights anymore.
Okay. Randy Orton. Randy Orton recently did a radio interview, and he admitted to what?
Well, everyone already knew about this. This happened in 2006. He OD'd. He stopped breathing, and his wife had to call an ambulance to save his life. He did have at one point a bad drug abuse problem.
Is that when he started to hear voices in his head?
That was about that point. Yeah. That was about that point. This is he admitted on this Arizona radio station. It's also going to be part of the Randy Orton DVD that's coming out in a couple of months now. Now, during this radio interview, he also joked he could name at least 10 guys who had slept with Kelly Kelly.
Oh!
But
he's not one of them.
But well, actually, there was a storyline in which they were boyfriend and girlfriend. And he joked, yeah, to be method acting, I slept with her. But he said, no, that's not true. It's not true. But he apologized to Kelly on Twitter, saying, I said some stuff I shouldn't have said, and it was wrong. And it doesn't matter who you've been with. Now, I can think of at least 3 wrestlers I know that I've heard she's gone out with. Now, I don't know if they slept together, but they went out with. But he said, suggesting 10's a bit much.
How do you cope with the voices in your head?
Booze.
Booze. And lots of it.
Drink booze.
And lots of it.
He doesn't drink.
Scott! CM Punk is going to be spending a lot of time drinking in the future because he is leaving
No,
the
he
WWE.
doesn't drink.
Well, he can start now.
He doesn't
start now. He'll have plenty of time to start now.
Well, we're doing
this. He's leaving the WWE.
We're doing this today before Money in the Bank. The natural assumption that we have is that he might win the belt from Cena tomorrow night, and then someone will cash in the Money in the Bank and then beat him, and they'll be the champion. There's also a strong possibility that maybe between now and tomorrow, he would decide to stay because he will become a major face because he basically told Vince to go to hell.
He basically told Vince to go to hell with Vince's sanction and blessing.
Yes, yeah. So now,
tell me to go to hell. Anything for ratings.
But I mean, he's even if he leaves for a while, he and the WWE worked out this marketing agreement so that they're allowed to use his name even though he officially owns it. And on the last Raw before the pay-per-view, he joked about not having his own ice cream bar. And since he said that, the good humor people are being flooded with requests going, we would like the WWE ice cream bars to come back. And they're going, we don't want to do that right now. But Punk is basically
we want Punk ice cream bars.
Well, actually, some fan did a mock-up of a fake cover for it. It's on the cover of a website. But the good humor people are getting so many emails that you might actually see the WWE ice cream bars come back. And, you know, I had those things. They sold them at the gas station by my house.
Oh, and they were damn good, weren't they?
No, they were good. No, they weren't. You didn't have one. They were good.
I didn't.
They were good. They were good.
No, I did. Probably lactose intolerant since 1977.
Yeah, I mean, they were damn tasty. Jim Duggan even had one.
Ring of Honor's Claudio
Castelloni.
This ought to be an MMA story. I can't pronounce it.
And Chris Hero are both handing to the WWE. They are the Kings of Wrestling in Ring of Honor.
Kings of Wrestling!
Now, Castelloni was once in the WWE developmental system, and of course, they missed the boat on him. So they're assuming this time around, they'll figure out that he knows how to wrestle already. You don't have to teach him anything.
Don't have to teach him a thing. A number of wrestlers from the SmackDown crew are doing what in South America?
Well, they did a South Africa trip, a really long trip. They said Randy Orton left St. Louis to get through Cape Town. It took him about 32 hours to get there. the SmackDown guys wrestled in Florida. It took them 26 hours to get there.
Yeah.
So not only were you stuck with this really long-ass plane trip, but when they got there,
They were wasted.
somebody rifled through all their bags and stole their crap.
Great. Welcome to Cape Town.
So Orton lost a watch, a GPS. They were even stealing clothes.
Oh, it's South Africa. I thought it was South America.
No, South Africa. They even stole
sorry.
their clothes.
Sorry, I can't read. Brian Gerwitz?
Brian Gerwitz
Gerwitz,
and Michael P.S.
He's
Hayes.
He's the chief story. Michael P.S. Hayes still works for
Michael
Vince?
Hayes.
I thought he left.
No, he's still there. Brian Gerwitz and Michael Hayes have become what I officially call them the chief story editors of Raw and SmackDown. Hayes was the head writer on SmackDown. Gerwitz was the head writer on Raw. Right now, Raw is being led by David Kapoor, otherwise known as Ranjan Singh, the great Kelly's buddy. He's the head writer on Raw. Ed Koski's the lead writer on SmackDown. The basic deal is that Gerwitz gets the ideas. He lays out the formats for the shows. He goes to Stephanie. He goes to Vince. They tell them what they want. He comes back to the writers. They tell them what to do. Hayes lays out the shows. Hayes lays out the major events. He lays out the whole thing. But they're going for executive story editor kind of thing. And they're looking for writers, but only people who worked in soap operas. Well,
because we're doing soap operas.
Because they're doing
male soap operas.
He's actually going back to that Randy Orton interview thing. The host kept joking about the fact that they were like, "You're a wrestler, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, but you have to call yourself a WWE superstar." He goes, "Yeah." They go, "Isn't that stupid?" And he went, "Yeah." Vince, it's a wrestling company. Get it in your head. You do wrestling. That's what it's called.
Well, wait a minute. They're called WWE superstars for a reason because they're superstars.
Yeah, but they're not. Yeah, but they're not. According to WWE policy, you're not supposed to call them wrestlers.
You're supposed to call them superstars.
Yes,
They are superstars.
but they're also wrestlers. It's a wrestling company. Vince likes to get that out of his head. It's a wrestling company.
It's a sports entertainment.
It's a wrestling company.
Well, if they were a wrestling company, they wouldn't be making movies.
Sports entertainment.
Wrestling companies do not make movies.
Sports entertainment.
They're entertainment.
Sports entertainment was a tax dodge that Vince came up with to stop paying taxes in New Jersey.
No, that was so he wouldn't have to have doctors on staff.
Yeah, you have to have
Doctors on staff.
So that's basically. But yeah, they're wrestlers.
If you're a sports organization, if you're a licensed sports organization, you have to have doctors on staff.
Yeah,
but if you're sports entertainment,
you don't have to have an.
You're not.
Although even using that though, there's still an ambulance parked for the show just in case something.
And our last story up involves Linda Hogan, who is no longer married to Hulk Hogan, but she got a book coming out, and she's on the book selling tour. And guess what she's saying Hulk did? What did he do?
Well,
Cheated on me.
she was on.
No.
She was on the Today Show, I guess, last week. She told Matt Lauer that Hulk hit her during their marriage. The problem with all that is the fact that when they went to divorce court,
Yes.
and they had that long and drawn out divorce,
She
never
never brought
mentioned it?
up once.
it was never mentioned once, and so she's doing.
You
it
think
to
you'd
sell
bring
the book.
that up in a divorce?
Yeah, so the fact, so she mentioned it, and apparently the interview she didn't come off very well. They talked to her about Nick Hogan and the John Graziano thing, and she said that John Graziano got hurt, but it was terrible, and Nick should have spent 8 months in jail for having a guy paralyzed for life. And
No, he shouldn't have.
and then
They should have let him out after a week.
right, and then she compared herself to Nicole Simpson, and she just came off as just really clueless about everything.
Man. She compared herself to Nicole Simpson.
She compared herself to Nicole Brown Simpson. Now, of course, she did the interview in the morning, and
She's
someone.
still breathing, right?
She's still breathing.
Okay.
Somebody woke up Hogan
Just
and went,
checking.
hey,
I
wait.
thought maybe she was dead.
Somebody
She
went,
lives in
Terry,
a nicer
Terry,
house,
he went,
too.
Terry, wake up. So what? He said, Linda was on TV. She's on today. She's talking about you beat her up. He goes, what? So he went on Bubble the Love Sponge later on that day, and he went, I never touched her, and if I had touched her, wouldn't that have been something she'd have brought up
Oh
in the
man,
divorce proceeding?
screaming she'd have brought it up.
Screaming. Okay, that's it. We're done. We're finished. We're out of here. We've got no more wrestling news.
Oh,
But
you can buy the book, by the way, in the dollar bin already.
Oh yeah.
right next to
Right
Bristol
next to
Palin's
Bristol
book.
Palin's
Right to Bristol Palin's book. You can go to the Star's website and check out all of the WWE and wrestling news that this man sends me that I post up. And where's it at?
Sarah knows all this stuff, and she's not Nicole Brown Simpson.
No, she's not.
www.myalternatereality.com. So can I go home now?
So go to the Star's website, check out all his news. Until next time, this is Bristol Palin.
This is Sarah Louise Gellar.
Say it. You don't know what the hell he's
Sarah Louise is Sharon
You don't know what the hell he's talking about.
I just made
Bye!
I just made the name up.
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.